Hey guys, so today I want to talk about this recent video that I've come across involving this young lady. Her name is Chantel Freeman, and I was able to watch her video on YouTube. Let me see if I could get you the name of. It's called Trigger Warning, Father Blank Daughter from age 5 to 15. And you can find this video on YouTube under Breakbeat Media. That's BREAKBEAT Media, MEDIA. So if you look up his channel on YouTube, you'll be able to find this video. Now, I want to take a minute to address the other interview with the alleged abusive father that was done by the content creator Tasha K. I don't want no issues with that lady, so I'm not going to be showing any of her fucking video in my videos. None of that. Instead, what I'm going to do is comment on what I noticed with the father, because as an abuse victim myself, I'm going to be able to pick up on signs and energy that someone who has never experienced this type of abuse cannot easily see or understand. So I just wanted to put that out there. So this father, what I can see with this father is that he seems to have a defensive posture during this interview, where he has come ready to refute any and all negative publicity that's been put out there about him. He showed up to the interview like this. I'm all for people defending themselves, but if you're able to refute and excuse and justify everything that has a negative connotation to it, you give me pause. Because before I even get into this interview, and I haven't even watched the whole thing yet, but by the time I finish this video, I would have finished the entire thing. But just starting off from hearing him talk about how the allegations of Miss Chantel are not true, and how this is not the first go round with her allegations against him, and how he's talking about the fact that Miss Chantel was not the first to accuse him of abuse. it was two of his baby mothers that first started the allegations against him. And then it was Chantel. So that right there refutes any, because it came from his mouth. So Chantel is not the only one who's making allegations against this man. Two of his baby mothers did as well. Because he went on to say how the charges eventually got dropped. He also said that the reason why the mothers did that while he was in jail, because he ended up going to jail, they wanted to keep custody of their kids. And they waited for him to go to jail to file these legal charges on him. That's what he's saying. So he made allegations that before, when Miss Chantel was making these allegations on Facebook, through Facebook, that he had to have it taken down. And he's saying that she's using these platforms to get money. Now remember that I said that because with this man, the word money keeps coming up. And mind you, while he's talking in a way that suggests there is no emotional connection there to his daughters or to the baby's mothers. Like, there's no emotional support from him at all. That's what I'm gathering from him now, watching him. The empathetic portions of the conversation that someone like me is going to feel automatically and know whether or not it's genuine, he's lacking. So I don't sense any emotional support there for anything going on with Miss Chantel or these other ladies that brought up the allegations against him. So Tasha K asked him when's the last time she was with her mother. And he says since 12, but she came to live with me again once I got out of prison. And she hasn't been back to her mother. So now you're saying that she hasn't been with her mother since she was 12. That would mean to me that she got with you before she was 13. You said she didn't come live with you again until you were 13. Excuse me, until she was 13. But when Tasha K asked you when was she last with her mother, you said 12. 12. Since she was 12. Since she was 12 is what he said. So she was last with her mother at 12. Me. Now either she was 12 and turned 13 while she was living with you, or she was 13 before she came to live with you, because it's not making sense that the mothers last had her when she was 12, but she didn't come to live with you until she was 13. Um, does this mean that she was living with her mother until she turned 13 and then she came to stay with you? Or does this mean that she came to stay with you at 12 and she turned 13 while she was with you and living with you? See how this is not clear? He's not being clear about shit. But she came to live with me again once I got out of prison. They gave me custody again. She hasn't been back to her mother ever since. So you know we done caught you up, right? We done caught you up with these ages. So if you're not telling the truth, the shit gonna come out. It always does. He's trying so hard to be so fucking vague and indirect that he don't know. There are some of us who can pick through his fucking story and be like, this don't make sense. This shit ain't adding up. You do know that court cases are documented. They can be given to the public if they have to go to trial, but I don't know about these situations, because it's involving a minor. But he's not being deliberate in his, let me say it like this. He's not being direct with his answers, so much so that you would need to question anything. No. I have questions about all the shit he done talked about so far. So apparently he has an ex-wife that's also there to be interviewed. That's interesting. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. Tasha K is saying that the ex-wife, whose name is Leah, she didn't have to be there. She didn't have to come. But she chose to come. Tasha K is saying that the people are there to support him because it's the right thing to do. It sounds to me like she may have concluded that there's more credit to his side than Miss Chantel's side of things. So him and this ex-wife have been, so correction. Him and the ex-wife have not been together for over 4 years, almost 5 years. But this ex-wife was in the home with the father and Chantel when Chantel was living there. About 20 years, the father says, of Chantel's life, she lived with him and Leah, which is the ex-wife, as a blended family. So he made sure to point out that the ex-wife left him. He made sure to point that out. She left me. So apparently the ex-wife is a huge supporter of her ex-husband, because she's defending him in comments and in blogs and stuff. The ex-wife is saying that she was with Chantel and her father the entire time. And the police have been called And it was a pattern. The ex-wife is saying that the person that Chantel did the interview with knew that she was lying, but decided to put the clip up anyway. So my question is, how did the ex-wife know that the person who did the interview with Miss Chantel knew that she was lying? How did the ex-wife know? Is it because of what the ex-wife said? I guess my question is, how did the ex-wife conclude that the interviewer for Miss Chantel knew that she was lying but decided to put the clip up anyway? The father is saying that the interviewer told him he knew that she was lying, but the interviewer said that's why he started asking her questions, because, okay, he said before they interviewed, they prepped. They prepped for a story. But the father says he didn't prep her for those impromptu questions. So when he started asking the questions, he told the father that was his way of trying to expose Chantel, I guess, as not being truthful. So the father is making it seem as though the interviewer of Miss Chantel was aware that she was lying and attempted to do the interview in a way that would expose her as such. And then Tasha K follows up with the fact that the clip is not exposing her, it's exposing him, the father. The father said to the interviewer that you was just coaching her. You was filling in the blanks where she couldn't. As if to say the interviewer the father is saying that comments were made about how the interviewer knew that Chantel was lying and made it seem to them as though he was going to make the interview expose her as a liar through the way that he did the questioning. But when the father and others saw that that's not what was happening, they made comments, and then the interviewer went and deleted the comments, so nobody that he knew or people who were watching would see those comments. The father is saying that the interviewer would not delete his information. So he had the father's information up there and didn't delete that. He said that every time Leah said something, he was pouring gas on it, trying to say that she was lying. He said that the interviewer was helping him, but he's like, how are you helping me, brother? How you helping my family? You're not helping my family. The father said, you gonna tell me you know she lying and you did it anyway, because I guess that's how you want to make a dollar. All money ain't good money. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. So here we go, talking about the money again. This is all tying into money for some reason. Interesting. Okay, so Tasha K is trying to say that because the ex-wife is going out of her way to come to her ex-husband's defense, and when I say out of the way, Tasha K is saying that this is um in opposition to the ex-wife's husband now. So the ex-wife is married now with another man, and that husband does not want her involved in this situation and does not want her doing interviews or coming to her ex-husband's defense. And Tasha K is trying to say that because the ex-wife is willing to go against her husband and come out here and to her ex-husband's defense, it's saying a lot about the situation. Well, I guess for a person who either was really in the dark about what was going on or really, really believed her husband at the time that he was one way, which contradicted what the daughter was presenting him as. She might have been delusional, but still, she believed her husband. And so, if all this time done passed and not one time has the ex-wife changed her position, it's no wonder why she's still holding that position now. Out of all the women, this is the only woman he's talked about in a respectable manner. The only woman, and also the only woman he was with for a long period of time. So I really want to listen to this woman. Even if I never hear from the other mothers, I want to listen to this ex-wife that he was married to for 20 years, that was in the household with him and the children. Because I want to hear what she has to say. Because it's very possible that he could have been with a woman for that long that would never question him or challenge him or inconvenience him and his doings. That's very fucking possible. For him to have been with a woman that was capable of doing that for so fucking long. That's very possible. So I want to hear what this ex-wife has to say. I really do. And he said it. The father just said, this is not normal. You don't want to be associated with this type of mess. I'm glad he said it. I'm glad he said it. Because I had already said it before I heard him say it. That he indeed does not want to be associated with this type of mess. Why? Because it brings shame upon him. I've heard him say that he's very grateful for Leah, the ex-wife. He hasn't yet talked about his two mothers, the mothers of his kids, the way he talks about this wife. He hasn't said one good thing about those mothers, as he phrased them, those women. He hasn't said one grateful thing about them. Nothing. There's some strong tension between him and those women. Tasha K also said that Chantel will be coming to interview as well. And she said that those questions that she can't answer, she's going to have to answer. So I'm not sure how this is going to go, and I don't know what questions she couldn't answer, but I can't wait to see what questions these are. The father said that Chantel said that the older sister raped Brandon. That's why she forgave Brandon for raping her. The father is saying that that never happened. Where the older sister of Chantel was raping Brandon. The father is saying that that never happened. He said that his son is a grown man, and if something like that happened, he would have said it. What? What? How many grown men out here done told somebody that they were being raped by their older sister? Just came out and said it. I want to know. Because the way he's saying is that he's a grown man. If that happened to him, he would say it. I don't know how many grown men struggle with the truth if it involves that type of abuse. I could be wrong, but I don't know any. I don't know no men. I don't know none of them. He's a grown man, so if something like that happened, he will come out and say it. The father said he spoke to them on the phone, Brandon and his older sister, and he said that his sister has never touched him. She never did anything like that to me. The father is saying that Chantel was still living with him after the baby. Said that Chantel mentioned in her interview that she left his house when she was 18, but she was still living with him, and the baby was still at the house, was living at the house with them. And then Tasha K says her daddy the rapist, and then she moves back in with her daddy to have a baby, and the baby's a girl. The father says he took care of Chantel till she was 22 years old. But you can take care of a child until they're 22 and that child not live with you. So that's a vague statement. That's a general. It's not. It's very. It's a circumstantial situation because you can still be taking care of a child that doesn't live with you. So saying that she was there the whole time because you took care of her until she was 22, that doesn't mean Chantel was living with you all 22 of those years. I don't know either way if she was, but you still could have been taking care of her even if she wasn't. And then Tasha K is laughing at that. So the father is talking about how she got mad because Brandon wouldn't babysit. And in this situation, Miss Chantel wanted to go to a car show, but she had just had a baby. So it sounds as though she was looking to get someone to help her with the baby. The father admits that he was working nights during this time. So they woke him up. They said that they were about to fight because Chantel wanted to jump on her brother because he wouldn't babysit her 3-week-old baby. Chantel's the father is saying that when Chantel saw the father come outside, Chantel was like, I knew you had something to do with it. That's why he's saying no. And Chantel said, okay, I got something for you. And the father said she called the police. And she told the police that the father had been raping her and she had to sleep with him all the way until she was 21 years old, up until the time she was doing this argument. And Tasha K says, well, she could have left. And the father said, oh, well, she had been moved out. So wait a minute. Hold on, father, because you just said that she was with you the whole time up until she was 22, and now you're saying she been moved out. Now I'm confused again. What do you mean she had been moved out? You said she was living with you until she was 22, that you was taking care of her up until she was 22. That when she told the interviewer she moved out when she was 18, that wasn't true because she was still living with you. So what is the truth here? Said that Chantel moved out at least 4 times with other dudes. So that means she wasn't living with you for the entire time. You see what I'm saying? This is why words fuck people up. This is why. He just said that Chantel was telling a lie when she said she moved out at 18 because she had a baby and her and the baby was still living with him. He also said that he was taking care of Chantel up until she was 22. He just said that when Chantel had the argument with the brother outside about keeping the baby, that at the time she was 21. And called the cops when the dad came out because she felt the dad had something to do with the brother saying no. Tells the cops that the dad been raping her all the way up to the age of 21, which she was at the time she made the call. And he just said that she had been moved out. She had moved out at least 4 times with other dudes. So make it make sense. You can't have it both ways. Either she was living with you and she left and came back, or she was living with you the entire time. But don't make it seem like, because he just did, he just made it seem like the girl was with him the entire time and she never left. Man, now he's saying that she did leave about 4 times with other dudes and came back. And so long story short, long story short, but your stories are already short whenever you go to explain something. You don't need to get no fucking shorter, or we gonna have one word answers here. Your shit is all over the fucking place. You can't keep it all together. Why? Because if you keep it all together and tell it the way it really motherfucking happened, I really feel like you're gonna be seen in a different light than you wanna be. So he's jumping all over the place with his fucking stories. That's what I see with this father. He's all over the place with his story. And he's not finishing his sentences and telling the story the way it should be told on purpose. He said that Chantel told them that she had to sleep with him for a place to live because she didn't have a place. Saying that if she didn't sleep with her father, she couldn't live in his house. And then she said, I can prove he's been raping me. This is what he's telling the police. So about the father is saying about 5 police officers came out and surrounded him. Wait a minute. I noticed that when he's telling the story, he slipped up. He said, instead of him talking for Chantel like he was doing just now, he slipped up. The father says, so I come downstairs. I'm like, what's going on? They outside, you know. The father says, when he came outside, Chantel said, oh, it's you. I knew you had something to do with it. That's why he's saying no. But he slips up and says, I got something for you. He said, I got something for you. He didn't say that she said that. He said, I got something for you. You have to pay attention to what people are saying, because he went from saying what she said to slipping up and saying what he said in the conversation. So the person who said, I got something for you, wasn't Chantel, it was him, because he slipped up and said, so I said, I got something for you. Go back and listen to it. Go ahead and listen to it. Pay attention.